Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to our developer class, our JavaScript developer class. So apparently, this is our last class. This will be our last sorry, I'm talking too fast. This will be our last developer class, right? We still have 2 tutorials to go, but this is our last official class. Okay, so we've been looking at. I want this class to go in a different way, right? So we've been looking at we started with JavaScript for the first 2 weeks, right? JavaScript syntax. Let me just open W3 DOM manipulation, and just everything as like that relates to JavaScript, right? Functions, objects, methods, data types, and stuff like that, right? And I think from last week, we began to look at how to build maybe an MVC app, right, with JavaScript and Node.js, okay? So I've explained all these concepts from Monday. I intentionally kind of ran through all of it on the first day. Then I continued explaining all the concepts every day, right? So I wanted to just keep on repeating everything daily, so everyone will be able to get the concepts behind every of these, right? And the same code base we've been using from the start is what I've been using, right? So I've just been adding routes, right? So we said we just index and users, I think. So I added all this, explained all this over and over again, right? So before maybe again, I'm going to do maybe exactly what I did yesterday, right? So before I maybe start explaining whatever I want to talk about again today, I will want to maybe kind of give opportunity if anyone has questions, right? Based on maybe you running your server, and it doesn't have to be about maybe MVC or your application right now. So maybe anything relating to you running your server, because I asked everyone to create a crude app, right? So you're supposed to maybe play around with whatever I shared, then come up with something else, maybe not necessarily blog, or if it's blog, you can extend, maybe add more fields, because these are just fields on the table, right? I am definitely going to give an assignment on this, right? And it's not going to be maybe a blog or a user, it's going to be something very different, right? So if you've tried running this and you fell into issues, or like some things are not adding up, you can ask now, and maybe I'll just take questions, and you can if you have technical issues, you share your screen and I'm going to help. Okay, so I'm going to do that before I go into what I want to do for today. Okay, Ola Daniel, sorry.
Yeah, hi Sammy. I know there was a point in time when we started this MVC, I think I missed a class, and ever since then I've not been able to align myself. So I know that we had the code bases that you're talking about, all these files in the MVC app. I downloaded that, but I know there are subsequent folders I'm seeing while you're navigating and you're showing us different things you're doing. How did you get those folders in there? Did you just create them, or are those the codes you sent to us in the WhatsApp group? We're supposed to just download them onto our system and then access them via the VS Code?
By folders, you mean like maybe controllers?
Yeah, like controller now. This model, I don't have it.
Yeah, you said you missed a class. I created anything, all the whole folders and code files I have here. I created it live on the class. So maybe the Express, I'm sure you were with us when we generated all this with Express generator, right? So
yeah,
the initial code that was generated did not have these 2 folders.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We created it on the class, and populated them with files.
So I guess that was when I missed the class, and I don't know how all that came into being. So I've just been following what you're doing, but I know that I don't have all these folders. So even when to say to create to connect with your database, it wasn't possible for me because I don't have these folders. I was like, okay, maybe one day I'll be able to ask you the question so that you can tell me how I need to navigate that.
How many classes did you miss?
It's like 2 classes.
Okay, so
And
if
unfortunately, they were how will I say it? They were one after the other, rather. Yeah, something like that.
you understand, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, let me just so you want me to explain where this folder came up from and where the models folder came up from, right?
Yeah, I have the controller, but I don't have the model.
Yeah, so if you have the controller, right? Okay, I think no, the last file, the last exercise or the last code base I shared has all of this, right? So
Okay.
the model inside, just check well, there's controller inside. If you watch the videos and just read through the codes, it's a little bit self-descriptive, right? So it's just this file just connects to a database, creates a table, then the controller is just what we had in our route. So previously, if maybe from where you stopped, if I go to users, okay, I commented my user. If I go to index, you're going to see a function in here, right, that handles the request. So the only thing we did for the controller, right, we just moved all the handlers to the controller, then just imported it the way we are importing the routes in the base page. Sorry, this is not the file I want to open. Okay, let me just for
Like
like
this route now, I only have like 2 folders in there. I think that was it. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, right? We built
Yeah.
all these like during the classes. So I was giving examples and building and stuff like that. But if you understand the concept of one, you can add additional routes. These are just additional routes. Okay, so you might have just index and users, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we created a little application. If I go to my homepage now, we added routes, just home, news, contact, about, blogs. So that's why I have multiple files here. So if you maybe if you can just watch the videos, I think watching the videos will just help with everything I see. But basically,
Okay.
we just added more routes and added controllers.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Amos, hi Amos. And also,
Yeah, Sammy.
so Amos, just give me 1 minute, sorry. And also, if you're having issues with maybe connecting or creating your database or data modeling, right? Or yeah, you can also raise your hand. I'm going to share your screen and help because after today's session, I'm going to give a project that will require you to do that build what we already built, and it's going to be quite different, a little bit, it is slightly different, right? And so Amos, go ahead.
Okay, Sammy, I have 2 questions to ask. One, the first one is if you're using a local host 3000 is requesting that it's already in use, how do you change that maybe to 5000 or something else? And
Is
also
Go ahead.
from the creation of that form, you use a blog post. So I was wondering, the blog post, was it from the mode, the action and the was it from the action and mode that you declared it, or you had the name blog post?
So I'm going to
Oh,
answer, I'm going to answer your first question first.
okay.
We're going to come again with the second one. You said if your computer is saying your port is already in use, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can go to where the port was declared. Let me just zoom into this now. So you can see my code editor, right?
Yes, I can see.
You go to bin. So the port you are using was declared somewhere, right? So you go to bin www. It's just a configuration file. Then you
Okay.
see where your port was declared. I can change this to anything. I think I had it on 5000. So if I change this, my server should be restarted. Yeah. So you can go there and change it. Okay. Well, I
Okay.
did not get your second question. Can you please come again?
Okay. Go back to the blog. Go to your code editor. Go to the blog. Yeah.
Code editor.
Yeah. So we have this blog post. You made mention of the blog post when we're trying to return this whatever you declared on the, let's say for instance, someone filled the form and you want to edit it, you click on edit. So you're using blog post as the value.
I'm trying to.
Okay, just go to your
Yes.
router.
Okay. Sorry. So
Yeah,
good routes,
start
right?
from your route. Yeah, your route. Okay, go
Blog.
to blog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, yeah, sorry. Go to your
App
yes. No. Review blog.
view blog.
Yeah. So okay. Now this blog post,
Yeah.
this blog, yes. So where did you declare it from?
Okay.
So
So
and I wanted to ask also the action and the was it from the action and the method that you got it from, or it's just different because it's kind of like
okay. So you this blog post variable, right?
yeah.
So we passed it down from the controller. So this is one of maybe the benefits of maybe using an MVC app with a template engine, right? So if I go to blog,
Okay.
you're going to see whenever I render, let me see, I've changed all this. Yeah, I have one. So whenever I do rest.render
Mm-hmm.
page, I pass in additional parameters in our object. Can you see? So I'm passing
Okay.
in blog post as a variable. Then I'm giving it a value. So this is just a JavaScript object. But the thing is, a server or an engine that has MVC always gives you the ability. If you were HTML, I will not be able to render or pass in variables into the page. But with all these backend frameworks, I have access to send a view page, but I can put in variables. So right now, maybe if I'm building a social media app, I can put in maybe user profile or maybe your profile, your full name. So I pass it to the front end. Then when I go to the views, everywhere inside this page, even if I can put the blog post title here, right? Everywhere inside this page, I have access to that variable because this controller rendered that page, but it passed in a variable to it. So it's
Okay.
just because we are using a server and we're using EGS, we're using a template engine. So we have access to JavaScript variables inside the HTML.
So the action blog and the method post.
Okay, I explained this that this is a form element, or sorry, this is a form tag, right?
Yeah.
If a form tag enables you to get user inputs from your users, right? So
Okay.
this is inbuilt into the browser, right? It has a couple of attributes that helps control how you receive this data. Okay,
Okay.
so the form element knows that the form element or how it's built, it knows that there are child records called inputs that are going to come inside it. So whenever this form has been filled, a submit button is going to click. So the form element just listen for a submit. Whenever you click on submit, it's going to get all the values in the form by itself under the hood and send it to a URL you specify here. Okay.
Okay.
So the action is where all the form value goes. The method is the HTTP protocol you want it to use. So I can control, I can use get, I can use put, I can use post, right? So
Yeah.
form element gets user inputs, then it gives you an attribute for you to specify where you want to send it. Maybe if you've done, I think, web to lead or case to lead, they're good. Like maybe if you kind of created any of those stuff in Salesforce, you're going to get an endpoint where maybe your form field can go to when you finish filling the form. So this is just the browser, or like, yeah, the browser will just collect all the data, pass it in a way we won't get into that, then send it to this URL. So you're the one to specify the URL where your data is going to go to.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Nadine.
Yes, I mean, I'm stuck because I added my NP the PG in the modeling. I added it to the dependency, but it's still not creating the database. I'm not sure why.
Okay, are you able to share your screen?
Yeah, hold on, let me just bring it up. You have to enable sharing.
Ah, okay. You can try now.
Okay, so I copied the index page for the model, right?
Okay.
Which is this. I've changed it and I put my name. I've added, if I go to package.json, my PG dependency is there.
Okay.
So I go back to models. So yeah, so I've tried it a few times, but it's not creating the table. So is there something that I'm missing?
Just hold on. Let me see. What's the name of your table? Let me see if it's created.
Black Forest Nadine.
All right. Just let me see. Oh, 16. Okay. Yeah, it's not created yet. So I don't think your server is seeing that file yet. So here's, let me try something. Go to your app.js.
Yep.
Just online 6 after
Yeah.
login. So just do require.
Require, that's it?
Yeah, require. Like, yeah, require. Then open brackets. No,
Regular
no,
one?
yeah, regular brackets. No space between both of them. Like, I want to require a file.
Okay.
Yeah. So put in quotes
Okay.
and try to call in that model. So just do dot models dot / models. That should
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah.
so just
So
try
require that file.
index. Yes, then
Yeah.
first index. Or this will do. Yeah. Save. Just try save. Let me see.
Ah, works. You're a genius. So do I have to put var or anything in front of it?
No, you don't have to put it. So
Okay.
so yeah, so this just works, but normally it's supposed to just read it directly from there. But if most times it doesn't go there to read the file, so you just have to require it. So this app.js always gets run by the server. So if you just
Yes.
require it here, it's going to just go there, read the file, then come out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hola, Daniels.
Yeah, hi Sammy. Do I have to download all those or create those folders before I can connect to the database? Or you can do it, you can help me do that now?
Okay, all those folders. Not really, not really. Did
Okay,
you
so can I share my screen now so that you can put me
first of
through
all,
how to
share
connect?
share screen?
All right. Okay, can you see my code editor?
Yeah, controllers. Okay, so to just make everything easy, right? Do you have that folder I shared?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't have it on here right now.
Because it's going to take me like to start creating the files, linking them.
Okay, don't worry. Then I can do that on my own. Then try and download the folder from WhatsApp and put it in here.
So if you just behind, like as we're going on, download the folder on WhatsApp and have it on your file system, then let me know. I'm going to help you maybe get your database connected.
Oh, correct. Thanks.
Yeah. So anyone else having connection issues? Okay, so Okay, I can see from my database how many tables are created. Otman.
Hi, Sammy. Yeah, my question is, I want to know how you can add a file to your CSV code editor, because you made mention now that Ola Daniel should download the file and add it to the CSV. So I'm wondering how one can actually do that without clearing the files on the CSV code.
Okay, you want to like kind of know
Because
how
I tried it. Huh? Yeah, well, I tried it the other time. You sent the file to the WhatsApp group. So when I tried to upload the file into the CSV code, it cleared the file or the folder I was working with. So it now populated the file I was trying to upload into the CSV.
So there's just a couple of ways you can do that, right? So what you should know, right? This whatever you have, whatever folder you have here is just like your file system, right? So you can copy, paste, edit, delete, right? So I can open up my file system. I'm not sharing, I'm only sharing the screen. And maybe if I have models in the other folder and I don't have it in this folder, I can just drag and drop it or copy and paste it in this folder, right? Or if I can want to do it manually, I'm going to come here, create a new file. What file I'm going to create? Intro.js. Then from the other folder, I'll copy, maybe I'll go to the other folder now. Let me give an example. I'll go to the other folder, I'll copy all the codes in the index controller and just come here and paste it. So there are just a couple of ways to kind of move codes, right? If you open the other folder, it's going to remove this one. But just know that this is a file system. I can copy file. Let me copy C. I can copy app.js and paste in controllers.
But if the file is on, if the folder is on the desktop,
You have your file. Yeah, you have your file system right on your computer. You can do it outside of VS Code. Just move the files or copy the files that are not in your own folder and put from the folder you downloaded and put in your own folder. Do you understand?
Okay, so you have to put it in the folder already created for the VS Code editor.
Yeah.
Oh, so if I open the folder itself, it's going to like clear out the folder, the system file.
Yeah. So if you do open folder, this is what you're talking about, right? Open folder from
Yeah,
file.
exactly.
If you do open folder, right, this is a project. Whatever I have here is a project. If you do open folder, you're opening another project. It will just eject this one. It won't delete it. You just remove it from memory.
Yeah.
One, right? But what you can do, if you just try use the file system to put in files that you want to, but what you can do, right? I think I showed someone this last time. I can add two folders here. So I'll right click on this empty space. So this might help you. Right click here and click on add folder to workspace. Okay.
Oh.
You click on add folder to workspace. I can add another folder. Let me see. I don't have any other folder I want to add here. Yeah, you can add a folder to the workspace and just copy and paste the files. But again, you can easily do all this from your file system. Just go check what is not in this folder, then just copy and paste it. Then open up your main folder from VS Code. That'll be easier for you.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah. Debu.
Good evening, Sammy.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. The folder you sent to us, so what I did was to open that up, change all the names that you said we should change,
Yeah.
to Black for Sammy, I changed all that. So now I'm now trying to I was able to do to host it, But once I click on the blog, I discover that the whole thing crashes. I don't know why.
Are you able to share your screen?
Yes.
Okay. Let me stop sharing so we'll see.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay, so like you can see it was when I was trying to click on this blog, that is when the VS Code itself crashes. So like if I clear it now and start, it will be okay. It will be okay. So, but now if I click on this blog at this back end, I don't know, it crashes. It can't load. And if I go back to my VS Code, I will have discovered that it has crashed.
Open up, expand your console. No, the next line up above.
Okay.
Scroll. Scroll. Go towards the beginning, scroll. It's okay. Black force. Table array does not exist. So go to your control.
It says here that it was successfully created.
Wait, hold on. Go to your controllers. Can you see? I remember I can already see the mistake. Just go to your controllers. Line 9. Controller blog. Line 9.
Controller blog. Line 9.
Okay, try an error. Black force. Black forces. Table from. Scroll down that in the logs again. Let me see the error. Hold on. Okay, this is weird. Let me just see. Go to the models index. Scroll. Can you see? Can you see? You're not creating the table. Scroll down a bit. It's my table, is my name that is still there. No. Scroll down. Look at line 35.
Oh, I didn't see that. But because that one said successfully created, so that's why.
That's just a console log.
Okay.
You can try from your browser now.
Yeah. Okay, it's working. Thank you so much, Sammy.
Yeah, so Ferrami.
Yeah, hi Sabi. So I wasn't in class yesterday, but I plan on watching the videos later this weekend. I just wanted to know if we downloaded like anything important or something, so I can do it as soon as possible.
Are you in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I shared the folder with after I think it was just basically what we've done in the class. So I just shared the folder. So all you just have to do is download it, then go to the models index. I left some comments. You just update the table names, then you'll be able to play around with whatever we did in the class. If you just watch the video, you can maybe relate. We worked on creating tables in the database and creating a little blog app that just runs maybe insert, delete, update, and select all queries. Okay. So if you have access to it, download the codes, just change the table names to create a new table for yourself, and you can be able to play around whatever we did yesterday.
Okay, thank you. You're talking about the Black Force Professionals group, right? For the WhatsApp group.
No, developers group. You're not
Well,
in a developers group.
No, I guess I'm not there.
Just do you have me on WhatsApp?
No.
Okay. You can drop me a chat by contact, how do you contact me? Just drop me a chat on WhatsApp. Maybe go from the professional groups and search and look for, okay, that would be very, very hectic.
Okay. Maybe I'll just reach out to my group members and they'll give me your number or something.
Yeah. Just look for a way to send me a message on WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Ola?
Yeah, okay. Done with the download. So I have an error. It's saying that cannot find module PG.
Yeah, so you have to share your screen. So let's just do the last. Let's take one last one. Share your screen.
Can you see my code editor?
Yeah, so we installed the package that helps us run the queries, right? It's Postgres, the Postgres client. So you have to do run npm install pg. So kill your terminal if you want.
Control C, right?
Yeah. Then npm install pg. Have you changed the name of the database?
To my name?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so go to models index. Yeah, so replace Sammy with your name. So you have a different table to work with. Yeah, there's still one down below. Yeah, line 45. Then you have to go into individual, go to controllers. We're going to go over all this again. So blog.js.
Blog.js. Okay.
Yeah, so you're going to see Black for Sammy in 4 places. So just change them. So here's what you're going to, let me help you. Just scroll to the first instance of Black Force Sammy, go up.
Okay.
Click on the text, highlight it. No, not that. No, not that. We don't want that.
Which one?
Yeah. Line 7.
Line
Or just
7.
Just change one after the other. Yeah, just change one after the other.
I know there is an auto way you say is this Control D, right?
Highlight it, just highlight it.
I've highlighted it.
No, the whole word, Black for Sammy.
Oh, okay.
Control D.
Okay.
Is that
can
all?
check. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you just change all of them. Yeah, so just backspace and type in. Then type in Black Force, your name. I think I forgot the name you used.
Okay.
Okay, so that's cool. You can start your server now. So if you go to your browser, if you go to your browser,
Okay.
So before you go, you use three E's, but you can see in the one that you just changed now, you put 2E.
Thanks for catching that.
go to your models index. Let me see.
Model index.
Scroll to line 35. Okay, you use 3 E's, so you have to
Yeah.
go to those ones. Just pressing Control D till all of them is highlighted.
Oh, I think they're all highlighted. It's just that. Let me see.
Is your editor on autosave?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, it's just one that's changing.
You're adding the E.
Yeah. The whole didn't change, just like two of them that changed. I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't highlight all of them.
Okay, so I think they're highlighted now.
I think you missed one here. Yeah, so if you save now and go to your blog app should work perfectly well now.
So, Sammy, what are all these things running underneath?
Sorry?
I can see some things running in the server.
What do you mean?
I mean the console. There's some things.
I think that's you creating every time your VS Code is on autosave. So it's created.
It's saving and your server is restarting every time. Your VS Code is on autosave.
Ah, okay.
Yes, your VS Code is on autosave. So maybe you activated it without knowing. Your server only restarts when you hit Control S or when you save a file, right? So as I was watching, as you were typing, your server was restarting every time. So your file is on autosave, your code editor is on autosave.
Okay, so is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends on you, right? It's both a good and it's a good thing, don't worry.
It's a good thing.
Okay.
We can do that auto save. Wow.
You don't have to be saving every time, so it saves for you. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you go to your browser and check if it works? So, but I'm going to explain this one more time, right? So the whole CRUD operation stuff.
Sammy, I'm on local 3000, but I'm not getting anything.
Did you download? Come back to your code editor. Go to bin www. Open up the bin folder. Then open that file. Look at line 15. Your port is 5,000 space. Localhost 5,000. You can change it to 3,000 here, or you have to access 5,000 from your browser.
Okay, let me do 5,000 from my browser. Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, click on blog.
Log is not, it's crashing.
Come back to your code editor. Scroll down in your console, scroll up in your console. Let me see the error. Scroll down a bit. Cannot find module PG. Okay, no, scroll down. These are your previous errors. Scroll down. You went.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is it.
Yeah, you did not change one. You have 3 E's. Blog.js line 9. Line 7.
Okay.
Yeah, try again now. Try the blog now.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so you can stop sharing. Let me just go through.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess everyone is okay. Everyone's server and database is running, right? So we're just going to go into, let me see. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so everyone's server is running, right? So, excuse me. Again, we've been talking about models, the model part of the whole MVC app, right? So we've seen views. Views is just a folder, a place where our front end or what the user sees are housed. Controllers handles requests and model deals with data, right? So there are a little other concepts that you might want to know, right? While as maybe as a developer, right? So one of them was CRUD. We handled CRUD, but I'm just going to go over it again. Then the next one, it's we've been using it, but maybe I've not kind of really said what's like maybe use the actual technical names, right? So there are what we call APIs, right? I am not going to fully touch on them, but maybe when we get to Salesforce, hopefully we're going to do some stuff with APIs, right? But I want to talk about CRUD. I already talked about models. Models is excuse me. Models is you defining the structure of your application, right? So for example, our little blog app, I defined, this is me creating a blog model, right? Title, author, and maybe the body of the post, right? So if you've used Salesforce, this is your fields and relationship or creating new fields, right? Database is the data store, right? But we worked on CRUD yesterday and I want to explain it once again. Then I think I'm going to add one more endpoint and explain the whole concept, right? Because some persons just installed the code base. I know we are moving out of JavaScript, right? And Salesforce is a bit more declarative, right? Believe me, you hardly be creating all this model. You can, I think in LWC, you can just come to your controller and call and maybe call your account, your account model from your org. It's just going to pull it for you and you can just manipulate data from the account model, okay? But for here, with JavaScript, you have to just do all those stuff yourself, right? So CRUD, there's what we call CRUD operations in software development, right? I can give example with every other or any other application, but I like using Salesforce because most of us here are familiar with everything in Salesforce, right? So just give me a minute. Let me just open up with dummy org. Okay, so basically what CRUD operations are, whenever you're building a software, you need to, or whatever resource or if whatever model you're building needs to be able to be created, right? It needs to be able to be read, even though sometimes permissions, maybe you can use permissions to hide all this, right? But basically everything needs ability to be created, read, updated, and deleted, right? We call them CRUD operations. So if I go to my org, if I click on accounts, this same stuff I saw here, what we've been doing with our blog app, it's on every, like any software or any application that has a record, right? I can create, add, edit, or delete those records, right? So those are what we call CRUD operations, right? So again, this works hand in hand, or this just kind of helps us practicalize SQL queries, right? So for you to be able to manipulate data, right, or manipulate your model, you need to be able to create, you need to be able to read, you need to be able to get stuff from database, you need to be able to update and delete, right? And the way you perform all these operations is by running SQL to communicate to the database. Remember, the only way you can communicate to the database is via SQL, right? So JavaScript, you can't use JavaScript. You can't send JavaScript into the database, right? So if I go to SQL, we looked at SQL yesterday. So SQL is a standard language for storing, manipulating, and retrieving data in databases, right? So all databases uses the SQL syntax to kind of manipulate and save data, okay? So CRUD operations are just like ability for your software, right? So I put a note here, when building a software, you want your model to provide 4 basic functionalities, right? There can be more, but these are just basics, right? So create, read, update, delete, and that's what we've done in our application here. So this is creating, if like this is a create form, this is reading it. We did not have it. I didn't have them on different pages. Then I can delete this. It's going to go. Then I can edit this. Okay. So CRUD operations are important to know. We are still going to use this. Maybe I think you're going to use this everywhere, right? Because even if you're writing Salesforce code, you have to kind of write codes to manipulate records in your org. Okay, I'm going to jump into my code editor. So we'll do this one more time in case some persons were not around when we practicalized it. Okay, then for SQL, right? There are many stuff we can do with SQL, right? So SQL is the syntax to kind of communicate with the database, right? If I go to my setup, all our objects, right? Objects, models in Salesforce are objects. All our object has what we call okay, I'll have to click on account first. Has what we call fields and relationship, right? So relationship are just association or associating 2 records together. So the same thing, we can do the same thing with SQL, right? I can use raw SQL to write associations, but for now, all we want to learn is select, which is read, update, which is update, delete, self-descriptive, which is delete, and insert into, okay? There's creating a table, there's create a database, but all these ones are like too much configurations. We don't want to dabble into them, right? So I'm going to kind of practicalize again today these 4 operations, right? Create, create, insert into, read, select, update, and delete, okay? So I am going to see. So previously we had a block CRUD, right? Let me see if let me look for another resource I can create. We tried using intful yesterday. Let's use users. Let me use users and just demonstrate this one more time. Okay, so I'm going to go to my models and change my table to users. I'm not sure anyone has used users. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to call it users, right? So right now I'm changing, let me stop my server so this doesn't get created while I'm writing. Right now, I want to demonstrate what we just did yesterday, right? So I already have this form. I want to demonstrate what we just did yesterday. So, but this time I want to create a table users, then I want to model it differently, right? So, okay, for example, you can see we are writing our model by hand here. So I'm just going to change this to first name, last name, email. I don't want to have much, so I'm just going to put in what other user attributes can we have? Age should be integer, and I'll make it nullable. Let me make it not null, so it'll just be consistent. Okay, so if you're not here with us yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, this is the same way you have with the Salesforce platform that you can create new fields. If I click on new, I select a data type. So this is me modeling data, right? So with SQL, or maybe if you're writing, if you're building in JavaScript or any language that doesn't have a user interface for you, you have to kind of be able to model or create a model in the table yourself, right? But most times you're not going to be doing all this, okay? So I've just created a very basic user model, and I think we'll just be able to create a few crude operations with this, right? So I'm going to save this, change this to console out users created successfully. Okay. If I save this now and check my database, sorry, I start my server. Okay. My application has successfully created this table. So what have we just done? We've just created this model in the database. I wish I could just log in and show all the tables. I have a list of all the tables created, right? So whenever this is created, it gets saved or it gets added as an object. So for instance, if I go to Salesforce right now, I think I can explain it like this, right? So this our org has a database, right? And each of these individual objects are tables. So files is a table, accounts is a table, contacts is a table. Same thing I have here, right? So these users, I just created this table, and for everyone that changed or used their name, like and edited this to use their name, they created a table in the database, okay? So ideally, your tables might want to be, maybe if you're building a full software, you might want to have maybe users, authentication, files, and stuff like that. But for our case, we are just practicing how to model and run crude operations, okay? So this is how we kind of modeled what we did yesterday. Then I'm going to go back to my app.js. We want to build a crude application. So initially we just had maybe a route. I'll use the index router, for example. We'll just have index router. It goes to routes. Okay, this is intro, sorry. It goes to route index. If I go to route index, right? So we're just listening for the endpoint, sending it to a controller. Then we are just sending out, let's say we are just sending out a view page, right? So this is just maybe, let me not call it a static site, it's still dynamic, but it doesn't have crude operations, right? So if I go to the route folder, sorry, file, open it up, you're going to see we just have one route handler, right? This is just for a get request. And as we saw here, crude operations, if you want to have a full crude operation, you need 4 of these. There are more, but these are just the basic or major ones that you should have to have a complete crude application, right? So, but if I open up the blog app we did yesterday, you're going to see I have multiple route listeners and handlers, okay? I have one to get all posts. I have one to create a post. I have one to delete a post, edit a post. Yeah, so these two are editing a post, okay? So again, creating crude operations, you're going to have different route handlers to handle different edge cases, okay? So I'm just going to try add a user page. Let me see if our blog application has a user page. Let me just go to home. Okay, we really have all these without a user page. So I'm going to go to our views, index, then add a user endpoint. So I don't have to be typing users in the URL all the time. So I'm just going to add users, right? So please, if this is not clear to you in any way, you can just watch closely, because I'm going to ask you to build another endpoint with CRUD capabilities, right? So I'm going to change this to users now. I save this, refresh. I am going to have, so let me just take off every other one that I'm not going to work with this evening, right? I'm going to save. So I just have blog and users, right? So if I click on users, I don't know if I have, okay, we don't have a route handler for users yet. So I'm going to go to my app.js. Okay, I have a router for users, but I think it's not properly plugged in, right? I'm going to go to user router. I'm sure everyone is familiar with what I'm doing right now. I'm going to go to user router. Then I'm going to see, okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm trying to get, so as you can see, our route handler, right? I've forgotten what was asking. I think it was Ola. So this is what we had maybe from Monday, right? Our controller logic, or our controller is inside our route handler. So I'm just going to change this now, right? I'm going to go to controller, create a new file, and call it users. Okay, users.js. Then I'll write my controller logic here. I'm going to move my controllers here. Sorry. User controller equals one object. Then
user is user. There's an S.
So can you come again?
The users, he has an S or a S.
Yeah, so this is the name of the file, and this is a variable. It doesn't matter, but I'm just going to put it, right? So
okay.
Yeah. Then I'm going to kind of create my first handler, right? User controller dot, let me see, get all users, right? I hope everyone understands this, right? Function, or I can as well just copy this so it will be more clear, right? I'm just going to go to the route file, copy this whole function. I said the last time, this whole function, like a controller is just a function, right? I can copy this function and declare it here and call it here. It's going to work. But the reason we have it in the controller layer is so we can have everything cleanly defined, right? So I'm going to take it off and paste it here, right? So I've declared our function in a controllers folder, sorry, in a controllers file. I exported it. Then I'm going to go to my users route and import users controller, okay? Users.js, right? So right now, whenever maybe a user requests our base user route, I'm going to send the person to this controller, user controller dot get all users. Again, this is just an object, it's a variable, right? And if you remember, the way we kind of reference values in, or sorry, keys in an object, it's maybe you can use the dot notation or something else, right? Okay, so I've just kind of made this stuff a little bit cleaner by moving the controller function into a controller file. Okay, so but our server crashed, right? If I roll it up, you're going to see that when we went to the users, our server crashed, right? The reason being that for our get all users function, our database query is trying to select from a database that we don't have created, right? So I think I was playing around with this and I deleted the table. So if I go back again to my CRUD operations, you're going to see that the creates, the select query or SQL query works with is select. So sorry, the read, the SQL query works with. So if you want to read stuff, you can see the definition. It extracts data from a database. So if I want to see a particular list of data or a particular record from the database, I'm going to use a select query, okay? So I'm just going to go back, go to my models index. Let me see what the name of my table is, right? I named my table users, okay? But please don't use generic, maybe if you want to, please don't use generic names like this. The reason is I have access to the database. I can check what table exists or not, but don't try to use a generic name like this. Just use your full name or prepare anything you want to use with Black Force. So I'm going to copy users, go to user controllers, then select all from users, okay? I save. I don't think we have a users view. So I'm going to create a view page for users, okay? New file, users.ejs. Then I'm just going to copy and paste what we have in the blog because we want to do the same thing. Then, so whatever I'm doing here is just normal stuff, right? I'm trying to create a user.js file. I'm replacing every text that has blog to user, right? So user, welcome to user page, create new user, create new user. I'm going to come back to that. So this is just me replacing text, right? I save that. Then after our select all from users, I want to render the users page, right? So I'm going to do res.render, sorry, users. I'm going to pass in a variable, right? So this is how we pass in variables to EJS. I want to pass in users as a variable, then the value will come from results.rows. Okay, so if you don't understand this, we are making an SQL query to get all the users, right? So this just says select all from users, order by ID. So this is just like an extra command we didn't talk about, right? It's just kind of is a sort command, like just sort it by ID. I can take it off or I can just as well leave it, right? So we are doing an error check. Then when there's no error, we render our users page, but we pass in a variable called users that has all the results from our database call. So if I save this right now, I'm just going to go to the front end to just see if everything is going to work okay, right? So I'm going to go to my browser, try to click users again, right? Pool is not defined, okay? So I'm going to go to user controller. As you can see, I was calling pool.query, but I did not have pool defined, right? So I'm just going to go and import pool. Okay. Const pool equals require a read from the index file. I'll save it. And try users again, okay? So our users front page is now opening, but I still have the data label I had for a blog post here. We are going to change that in a while, right? But the thing is, we've added one. Okay, I've opened up a route because I had user routes previously, but I also connected it to a database, right? I'm going to plug in this form shortly to show you that when I create this read page is going to list out all users here, just like we have for the blog page, right? But so I think the blog still works. Yeah, so just like we have for the blog page, if I create 10 posts now, they are going to be listed, right? So I just added one because And maybe some persons did not know how we did all those yesterday. I added one. So this is the process, right? From route to controllers, then controller makes a query to the DB, right? So if you go to the blog controller, you're going to see all the queries we made, right? So get or post calls a select query. Create a post calls insert into, right? And this is the pull command. What's it called? Delete calls a delete query. Update calls an update query. Okay, so let me just see. I think someone wanted to ask a question. Obey me.
Yeah, hi Sammy. So it's not related to it. I just needed your help with the blog post that we created, but maybe when you're done, or can it be something we can do now?
Your server is not running.
Yeah, I tried recreating it, doing it over and over again. So maybe there's something I'm missing, and I keep getting the app crashed and looking through the errors. I've not been able to figure it out.
Yeah, so let me just complete this. We'll do that
Okay.
later.
Thank you.
Yeah. So to just go ahead, I'm going to clear this form up, then use our user fields, create a user, then we're going to do something else, okay? I'm going to go to the front end now. Then rather than auto, right, I think our form field, has a first name. Right. Then just give me, let me just check what's first name, last name, email, and age, right? So first name, last name, email. Then we have a last one, right? I'm going to just, don't like typing too much. I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to call it age. Okay. If I save this our form and go to our web page, we're going to see that our user form is slightly different now, right? Okay, I have 2 breaks. Our user form is slightly different, right? To accommodate our user model, right? So previously, or what we only have now, we have a listing page, but because we don't have any users, we are not listing anything. So I'm just going to try create a user, right? But before I do that, like I said, I explained to someone today, we need to handle this form request, right? So whenever the form submit is clicked, it sends our request to our form data to this endpoint with a method of post. So we did this yesterday, right? So this /user translates to your base URL /user, right? Or I can just type it in full HTTP localhost 3000 users, okay? But with a post request. So I'm just going to clean this up. I'll save. I'll go to our app.js. Sorry, I'll go to route, users. Okay, so right now I just have router.get, user.get all control. I want to add a new one, right? I want to add a new one called router.post. Still the same user, but this time send it to just controller dot create a user. Wrongly. Yeah, so please can just mute. Okay, so I hope everyone understands what we just did here, right? So this one is for reading.
Sammy, can you come again with the post? You said you were supposed to use localhost 3000 because of the post you directing it, right?
Okay, so what I said, right? I'm going to go back to the form. What I said, right? So this action element or attributes tells, like, it gives you the ability to write or tell the form where to send this whole data, right? So we want it to send it to /user on our current server. So anywhere, okay, good to let you know this, right? Anywhere in my code base, I do / and endpoints /contacts or /news, right? Node.js or Express is smart enough to know, oh, this guy wants to reference something in this current server, okay? I can as well put in HTTP, I can put in the full URL here, right? HTTP localhost 3000 /user, right? But most times we just type in the endpoint because your server will redirect it back to your app. So if I do /user, sorry, if I do /user, I'm redirecting back to my app, but with a post request, okay? So there are many HTTP verbs, right? I only mentioned or listed out 4, but there are many of them. Post, there's, I don't know if you can see this, there's a post, get, put, patch, all of them kind of are used for different things, right? I didn't want to open this because I don't want to confuse anyone, right? So I want to send it via a user endpoint, but with a post request this time, not a guest request. I'm always messing up this code. Okay, so I save this now. If I go to my user route, you see that I only have one route handler. I only had one route handler handling the get request, but I want another one handling a post request, right? So with your router that we imported from Express, I can do all of them. I can listen for router.delete, router.patch, router.put. Yeah, there are so many of them, right? I've done get, post, patch, put. There are so many of them that I don't start listening at, right? But the point is, for every endpoint you want your app to handle, you have to come here and listen for it, okay? So now we are listening for the base, which is users, but on a post request, I want to send it to user controller.create a user. Okay, we don't have this here. We don't have this yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and create it. Users controller dot create. What's that way? Create a user. Let me see how I spelled it here. Create a user is the same. So again, still the same function. Okay, but this time, rather than getting off from the database, we want to create a new record in the database. If I go to the SQL documentation, we're going to see insert new data to the database. But we have to do some little base work, right? So that's why I told you previously, right, that the controller is where you do all your logics, your business model, like you kind of write all the JavaScript code you've learned, the if else loops, you always kind of get to write them in the controller, right? We need to get get the user values, okay? So we cannot create a new user if we don't know what was passed or what was filled from the front end. So, and again, the front end guy is sending it back to us. We are going to receive it in this request object, right? So the server and Express and Node just handles that for us. I'm just going to copy and paste this because I've already done it before. Blog, delete. Okay, let me go right again. So let's, because it's quite different. First name equals to request.body.first name, right? So pardon me, I'm going to duplicate this. So the second one should be last name, request.body.last name. Third one, email, request.body.email, sorry. And last one is age, okay? Request.body.age. So what have I just done now, right? I explained yesterday that these two parameters are very important in our servers, right? So this is request, everything, the browser or whatever the request, wherever the request is coming from is sending, and this is a response. This enables our server send a response to the browser. So what we are doing, I'm just getting the values of our form. Our node server saves it in a request body object for us. We console.log it yesterday and saw what was inside. So I'm just going to go to blog and just copy this syntax, right? I don't want to write this, too long to write over again. So I'm going to copy the syntax, and this is like practically there's if you write once, it's always not, if you write once, it's good to just maybe reuse it wherever you need to use it, right? So we want to insert into our database, into our users database, but right now I'm going to change it to insert into users, okay? And my fields are first name, last name, email, age, values 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll put in my variables. Email, age.
Sam, are they case sensitive?
Variables are case sensitive, right? So this, oh, you mean the SQL commands?
Yeah.
No, you can use small letters, but it's always convention to use capital letters. Let me see, let me look for it to be sure. I know SQL is not case sensitive. Okay, it's an SQL syntax. So SQL keywords are not case sensitive, right? Select is the same as select, but it's always, I'm not sure, like I've seen, it's always just, it's convention to use capital letters. So you know you're running a command, sending a command to the DB. It will work, but just use capital letters or block. Are you there?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so okay, again, we're receiving our form data. We're calling the insert into users, passing our model, like the fields we want to update or create. First name, is this spelled correctly? Last name, email, age. Then we are calling the variables first name, last name, email, age. I want to redirect to users when I'm done. Okay, so I don't think I explained this yesterday. I think I just typed it, right? So res.redirect. Previously I've just been rendering, right? So what this does, right? I've finished creating a user. I don't want to have to, if you can remember previously, if I created the blog post, I'll have to refresh to see the list of the blog posts, right? So I finished creating a user. My view, my front end doesn't know that I've added a user to the database. right? So it still has it's still empty, or if you had one record, it's still going to have one record. So what do I want to do? I want to recall the user's endpoint, right? So whenever I say rest.redirect, it's quite self-explanatory, right? Just redirect to this endpoint users. So this doesn't go to the view directly, right? So whenever you call a redirect, it goes back to the routes. So it goes back to the routes. Where's my route folder? It goes back to the route and calls this endpoint again. Remember, what does our users do? It gets all users. So whenever I finish creating, I'll just redirect to all users page. So my server will just help me get all users afresh, right? So we are going to see it when I create a user. I'm going to change it so you see the difference. So I'm redirecting to all users. So when I go refresh, okay, still works, and I create a user, right? I create Ola first name, Daniel's last name, email ola.daniels@email.com. Age, I can put 10, it's just a number. Okay, not found. So we have an error. Let me see. Okay, so this is one of the common errors you're going to be getting. Users controller does create user. Okay. Okay, so the name of my endpoint is users. So I was posting to user. Let me go. So this is supposed to be users. Okay. I'm going to save this now. Restart my server. Okay, again, I'm going to create Ola Daniels with email and age of 10. If I submit this time, it's going to create my user, then automatically list out my user because I'm redirecting to the same page, right? So let me just display this correctly. I want to do users dot first name, remove the by, users dot last name. I can just only display first name and last name. And we're going to see Olada. I can add email if I want. We're going to see Oladanes, okay? So again, this is just, let me see, we've just done create and read, right? So I can create, who do I create? Let me create myself. Sam is sam@mail.com, age 2. Submit, it adds another records and just automatically populates it for us, right? So yesterday we created delete and edit, which works if you follow our blog app. But I just wanted to demonstrate again. I think some persons, I didn't just want it to be all about just copy and paste and moving codes, right? So this is how we did the stuff. This is how we did what we did. Creating, if you downloaded those codes, right, you have all the DB queries, right? You just have to maybe, if you create a new model, you just have to read through, let's say, okay, blog, create a post. You have to get the values of the post you want to create, then create it and pass in the variables, right? Delete, you have to get the ID from the params. I talked about params yesterday, right? So the placeholder you have in your routes, you can access it and manipulate the data from there. Okay, so I won't try to maybe create, edit, and delete, but one last thing I wanted to show you guys is that we've just been having plain HTML our EJS, right? I wanted to show you, or maybe you might have known, you can put in a full-fledged HTML or a full-fledged HTML template that looks very beautiful and is going to work just fine. So let me just try something and show you. We've just been working with forms that are not looking very fine, but you can put in the view folder. Basically, the view folder is supposed to house everything front end, right? So it mustn't necessarily be HTML. I can put in a full website and it's going to look very good. Let me see. There are places where these guys have websites. HTML, is it CSS? Okay, I wanted to. Okay, I wanted to copy, I wanted to just copy and paste a full website that has CSS. I didn't want to write anything, right? So I can show you that you can add styles there, you can add JavaScript there. Okay, let me go to how to. This is a slideshow, I don't have the images. Okay, let me copy login form. I saw login form. Okay, will this work? Let me try this. I don't think they are doing anything special. I just want to show something, right? That we can use both HTML and CSS on this front end. So let me refresh our users now. I hope it don't break. Yes, but it's not looking as beautiful as what they did, right? But I just wanted to point out that we've just been writing ugly HTML. You can use, you can put in, with what we've learned now, you can build a software, right? Just get a template, the same way we worked on editing templates, right? Get the components of the template, put in your front end, and just use your server to control dynamic data, right? So you can have CSS, you can have JavaScript, but what we've just been doing, to just give an example, is we've just been using plain HTML forms, okay? So I am going to just stop here, right? You can maybe try the delete and update on your own. I'm going to stop here and just really try to help anyone that's having issues with running their server, because it's really going to be important that everyone's code is running. So when you get the task, you'll be able to do it easily. I think, oh, I've forgotten the name. Okay, yeah, Opemi.
Yes.
Yeah, you say you were having an error on your console.
Yes. So let me share my screen now.
Just wait, let me stop sharing. Okay. Yeah, you can share.
So that's what I'm saying here. App process.
Yeah, so just screw up, right? You always have a descriptive error message just above. Same thing with everyone. So scroll down, scroll back down. Can you see the error? You're going past it. Maybe in case of someone else here, sorry. Yeah, cannot find module HTTP errors. So you've not even run, like you're not running npm install yet. So before you be able to run this, you need to install all the package dependencies. So just queue your server, Control C, then run npm install.
It PG?
No, just install.
Okay.
Yeah, run npm start now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I okay. I think I shared the document earlier about maybe how to start your server, install packages and stuff like that. So you don't miss any step. You always have to install packages first.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you can stop sharing. Yeah, okay. Does anyone have any questions? Should we go ahead and add the delete and edit?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So let's just do it again one last time. Okay, so we have the create operation, we are reading all. So we have read all, we have create. So let's just work on delete, okay? So if I go to my code base and just look at this, you see that this delete we have here is just a link. And what I have in the link, if you just watch towards the bottom left of this corner, if I hover over delete, you're going to see the URL, right? Localhost /user, then the ID, then delete, right? So I want to change this to users because our endpoint is listening for users. I'm going to change this to users, save. But the point is, I want to go to my route handler and create a new request to handle when a user needs to be deleted, okay? So the endpoint is /users. Let me refresh this. Yeah, /users, the ID, then delete. So if I go back, go to my routes, users, I already have 2 route handlers now. I'm going to create an additional one. Router.get. And remember, I know I said you have to use a delete request for this, but just know the browser only sends a get request, right? So if I have an A tag, whatever tag I have or whatever I'm doing, whatever link you click on the browser, it can only send a get request except you specifically tell it to do otherwise, right? For example, in the form, that's the reason why I have method of post. Okay, so if I didn't have this, it's going to use get by default. So for us to be able to delete this, I'm going to listen for a get request. And going to be users /ID /delete. Remember, I already have users here. Like I'm already listening to users here and sending it here. So all I just need to do is /the ID. I explained this yesterday, right? This ID here is a placeholder, right? I can name it anything. I can name it first name. If I want to send the first name as the identifier, I can name it email. Okay, but most times the very like the sure way, or like the way to identify records is the ID uniquely, right? So the database will not even save a record without a unique ID. So it's always best to use IDs to identify records, right? So again, I've created an endpoint handler for my delete. I'm just going to send it to my controller. users controller dot delete a user. Okay. I'll go to my controller and try and create the delete handler. So controllers user. So previously we had create user, get all users. I'm going to add one more. Users controller dot delete a user, right? Yes, I spelled it correctly. Next. So for me to be able to delete a user, if I go to my browser, let's see, I'll go back to SQL. For you to be able to use the delete syntax, you need to identify what you want to delete, right? So this is syntax: delete from table where condition, right? So the condition can be where ID equals 1, ID equals 2, or where name equals, or where customer equals Alfred, and this one in my still can't pronounce, okay? So you can use ID. Let me just give an example here. So I'm using their editor, right? So I'm going to cut this and save it and just do select all, sorry, what's the name of the table? Customers, right? So I'm just going to do select all from customers, right? So it lists out all the customers. I'm going to try to delete this guy, or let me look for their Alfred. If this is not too much, it's too much. I'm going to try to delete this guy, right? So you see where the where condition comes in. So delete from customers where ID, rather than using a customer name, I'm going to use ID equal 2. So we're going to see that this guy with the record of ID 2, or this, I think, is Anna Trujillo. So this Anna is going to get deleted. Hopefully I don't have an error. No such column ID. So the column is customer ID. Sorry, I was using my own table. Customer ID. So we've deleted Anna. So if I run select all from customers, so can you see that I'm using small letters now? I don't know who asked that question, right? Select all from customers, and it returns a response, but Anna is gone. Okay, so you need a where condition to tell SQL what record to check against, right? So I'm going to go to our controller. We need our ID. So let ID equals request.params.id. So previously, we received our form fields from an object called body, okay? But right now, because our ID, so this is called the request parameters, right? So whatever I have in the URL are called the request parameters. So what I'm saying here is I want to get a variable from my param. So Express just helps you make this easy. Okay, I want to get the ID from my param. So I'll just do request to params.id. I'm going to get the ID. Okay, so again, I have already written the query. So let me just go get user delete. Okay, so this is the pull query. The reason I'm copying and pasting, I think it happened to me the first day. I missed a comma and I don't want to do that again, right? So we have our ID now, so we can use our where condition. Delete from, the name of our table is users, where ID is equals the first place. So I remember I said we're using a Postgres clients package, so we'll have to the syntax will be slightly different. Okay, so I'll pass in my ID here because I said where ID is equals the first value in my array. So I pass in my variables here. Deleting this, again, I'm going to redirect to blog. Sorry. users. If I save, I'm going to just go to our front end and try this. So right now I have Ola, Daniel, and Sammy. I'm going to try to delete Sammy. As you can see, Sammy is gone. It's no longer in our database. If I refresh this, I won't be able to see that record. So we've just successfully deleted that record. Same thing when I do for Ola, it's gone. If I save, it's gone, except I create new records again. Then I'll have data in my database, okay? So I think Ola raised his hands up. Ola?
I just want to ask about the ID. You said we should focus on the ID. Is it a kind of convention? Because focusing on ID is not really self-descriptive, because how do you know the user that's on maybe ID number 51, ID number 201? Is it a kind of convention?
Yeah, so I don't know the word I use, but what I meant was it's best practice, and I think it's convention to use. In fact, ID is used to like easily identify every record, right? So you always use IDs, but you can use name, you can use email, or you can even do double check, right? Where ID equals 2 and email equals maybe your email, but we are not getting into double conditions. But to answer your question, right? So you say, how will you know if maybe Anna's ID is 2 or Alfred's ID is 1, right? So whatever you're doing or whatever we're doing here, it's dynamic, right? None of them are going to be hard coded. If I create this, right? Ola, can you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so if I create this now, what I'm doing, right? I'm looping over our users and outputting them on the web page, right? They all have an ID record. So if I go to my users, you're going to see as I'm looping over it, on each of the delete and edit button, I'm appending the particular ID. So you can see users index i.id. Can you see this? So I'm not guessing the ID, I'm putting in the actual ID. Same thing if I go to maybe a Salesforce org and I click on what's it called? If I click on view, can you watch this place? Can you just watch this place and see? Can you see that the ID is appended?
Yeah.
So it's dynamically like listed, right? So each of the record has its ID. So I know this delete button has an ID that can identify Ola Daniels in the database. Okay. So if you know this, maybe you don't have to worry about, so how will I know which ID belongs to which user? So when you're looping or when you're listing, it's always convention to append the ID to the record. So if I click on delete, I'm only going to delete that record. Does
I
that
think
help?
I understand now. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so ID is dynamic, right? So if you're building maybe you're building an app, you always have to maybe trace where you kept or keep a record of where you kept your ID.
I think what confused me was I thought we'll be calling the delete, we'll be using the SQL, the code. But now I realize that it's the app that will be actually seeking the record itself, not us coding it in.
Yeah. You're not putting in the ID, you're not hard coding any ID, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any other person has any question? Okay.
Hi, Sammy.
Hello.
My question is, how did you replace the blog with the user, please?
I did not replace. I added the user. I just added user. Our blog is still there. If I go to homepage now.
No, there is I think you replaced, you did some replacement. I'm not sure how you did that. So that.
Oh, you're asking about the shortcuts?
Yes, please.
No, it's just Control F, right? Then maybe search for what you want. So if I search for users, I'm going to get.
Oh, okay. So Control F then.
Can you see this? You're going to, there's an arrow here. If I click on it, it's going to bring another box. So I can use VS Code tools. So I can replace all users in this file. I can replace it with blog. If I click on this, it's going to take out all the user text.
Okay. Control F.
Yeah, so it's just, I think during HTML, I pointed this out, right? So just go here, click on settings, or click on settings, then keyboard shortcuts, right? There are a whole lot of cool things you can do, but you just need to know how to trigger them and just know where they are. Many shortcuts, yeah.
All right, thank you, Sammy.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Let me go back to our users. We have just one more, right? We have edits and okay, so let's just go over the last one so we can close, right? So I've done, let me create a record so I can just see what we've done. Yeah, we have everything working aside from edit, right? So editing, it has the same concept with delete, right? So as you can see, I have users/for/edit, right? But the thing with edit, right? For you to be able to edit a record, you need the details of the record, right? So if I go to this and I try to edit get cloudy, if I click on this and click on edit, it's going to first of all give me a form with the previous values populated in it, right? So I can't edit on an empty form. I won't know what the previous value is, right? So that's where edit is a little bit tricky, right? Because I need to go to the database first, get the record because I only have the ID, get the record, render a new page, and populate the page with the record, right? So we're just going to quickly do that. I'm going to go. We have users/ID edit. I'll go to my route file, right? Route users.js. Again, we have 3. I'm going to add one. Router.get ID edit. Okay. So what this is just going to do, right? It's just going to return the details of that particular record with this ID. So we want to get the details first, so we'll be able to populate the form. Dot get a user. Again, I've not created that. So if I go to controllers user, I'm going to add one more handler, excuse me. Okay, let me just type it. Okay, again, we want to get the ID of the record we want to look for. So I'm going to get my ID. What have I done? I'm going to get my ID in a variable, right? So again, I'm getting this ID from the params. I'm saving it in a variable. Let ID equals the params of ID. So let me just see how, let me just copy our query from our blog, right? So delete, edit a post. Okay, so this is the pull query. I'm going to just copy it and paste, then explain, right? So like I said, we want to just get the record first and display it in a form, right? So select all from users, right? Select all from users, right? Where ID equals the ID we are going to pass in, right? So this just gets a single record, or sorry, the whole record details of a record with this ID, right? So I'm going to render, like I said, we're going to render a new form, right? User edit, user results.rows index 0. Okay, so basically what we're doing here is we want to edit the record, but we have to get the record first. Just like what we have here, we have to get the record first, so we'll be able to populate the form. So I'll send to user edit, but when I go to my front end, I can go create a user edit file. And before I go far, I wanted to talk about, let me just create user edit, right? .ejs. So if I go further, you can have, as you can see, my routes folder is getting long, my views folder is getting too long, and so is my controller. You can have subfolders, right? I can create a new folder here and call it users. And I can have all the views related to users inside here. I can have a new folder, not file, sorry. I can have, let's say, a new folder in views and name it blog, right? So you can have nested folders as long as you reference the resource appropriately, right? But I'm not going to use folders. So I created user edit. I'm just going to copy what we did for blog edit yesterday. User edit, paste. Again, I'll do the same thing, replace, look for blog, place with user, replace all, then edit a user. So this is me just not me editing a HTML page, right? So I am going to copy our user form because I don't want to type it again. Come here, paste it, right? So first name, I'm going to explain this in a while. Let me just see if it works. Okay, so let me just try this and I'll come back and explain. Users edit. User post is not defined. I knew I was going to have an error. Okay, user. Okay, it's coming FIRST. So okay, so what we're doing here, right? Like I told you, the edit code is a little bit tricky, right? So we had to fetch the record first, then populate it in the form. So what we're doing, if you did or if you studied HTML form, you know that with an input element, I can actually put a value, right? So if I go to my users, you can see we didn't have any value because we wanted the user to type a value. I can, in my user edit page or any edit page I'm building, put in a value, right? And when the browser loads, it's going to load with data in the form. Okay, so I know the name is Ola Daniels. I can change it to Ola Daniels 2 because I have the data, right? So right now we're getting the data, but I can't submit this form, right? Because we've not handled the post request. So if you can see from the action is we are sending it to users slash user slash ID slash edit. Okay. If I go to my routes and go to users, I have user slash ID slash edit, but as a get request. I'm going to add a new one called with it, then that sends with a post request, then user controller dot update a user. Okay. I save this, go to my controller and create update a user. Okay. Again, we want to get the ID, right? So I'm not going to put in ID, getting ID from request params, but let me just copy what we had here, right? Because I don't want to write the query again. So we want to update a user. So what do we need? We need the same thing we did while creating a user, right? Because we want to update the record. So to be able to update the record, we need to get the value sent from the form, okay? The value sent from the form. So first name, last name, email, age, in case there are changes, right? So update users. Again, if I go to SQL updates, you're going to see the syntax, right? Update table name set column 1 value, column 2 value, right? With a where condition. So update user set. I want to set first name to the first variable, last name to the second variable, email, third variable. What else do I have? Age. Okay, I switched that. Where ID is equals the fifth variable, right? So I'm going to paste first name here, last name here, email here, and I'm going to type in age. Okay. So again, what we've just done, right? We are trying to update this record. So when we get here, we are getting the ID because we want to put a where condition, right? And the body of the form. So I'm going to save this, redirect to users. If I try to edit Oladaniels now, I'm going to see it gets populated with everything. I'm going to change this Oladaniels 2 and email 2111212 or 110 to 2232. I click on submit now. You're going to see I'm not displaying email and other stuff, but you're going to see the name is Oladaniels2 and Ola2 and the surname is Daniels2. So basically, right, this is how you just kind of perform little queries or build a crude app, right? So this is how you query the database. For us here, we're using Postgres, right? That's why we always wrap it with pool.query, right? So if you're writing directly, maybe in a terminal or an SQL environment, you can be able to use plain old SQL, okay? So I've just done another crude again from scratch today. So I guess everyone that followed through today understands the process better now, right? Because you're going to be required to just build a very little crude app for me. So I can just confirm everyone understands this. Does anyone have any issues or any questions?
Yeah, Sammy, you could also drop this file for us on the WhatsApp group.
I'm going to drop it.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So since there's no questions, I am going to we're going to stop here. I'm going to send the codes, then I'll send another document outlining what I want you guys to do. Okay. Olakin.
Yes, I mean, I don't know if you have explained this before, but there is a syntax that I see today, the tag having the percentage, and I'm not sure I know how that works and how it seems the referencing is different from the other ones I'm used to.
Okay, so this is EJS syntax, right? You can, I don't have much time to explain it now. You can read about it. So EJS just, the meaning of EJS is JavaScript in HTML. It just helps you write JavaScript in. If you can see, this is plain HTML, right? But I can still write JavaScript in it, and it's going to work and pass it, right? So the syntax to do that, right, is I'll have to do this and this. When I have an opening, sorry, this is like an opening tag for it. This is like a closing tag. I can write JavaScript here. Let's name equals Sammy, sorry, in a string. So this is plain JavaScript, right? But me having it in this syntax allowed me to be able to write JavaScript in HTML. So it's EJS in HTML. You can maybe just read more
Read
about
up on it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you, everyone. I'm going to send the codes and the document I want to send via the chat. So we're going to stop here. Okay. Sagal.
Yes, Sammy, I just wanted to check, do we have tutorial this weekend or it's done?
We have tutorials.
No tutorials? Okay.
I said we have tutorials. There's tutorials.
Oh, there is. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, everyone, and bye.
Bye, Sammy. Thanks.
Thank you.